Nasreen Hoja and the Candle. One day during a particularly cold winter, Nasruddin Hoja and his friends sat in a coffee house discussing the weather. At first, they spoke normally, but soon they were bragging about the things they could do. Before long, the Hoja stuck out his chest proudly. You may think that we are having a cold winter. Personally, I love the cold and snow. When I was a boy, I used to go out in the middle of January and break the ice on the river so that I could have a good swim in the water. Pooh! This cold is nothing. His friends did not believe his story. Looking at each other, they decided to challenge him. His best friend said, Hoja, you say that you like cold weather? I suppose you could stay out all night long in the cold without a coat or a blanket or anything at all to warm yourself. Of course, said the Hoja. No fire, no hot tea, no blanket, no coat. The others seemed impressed. Well, said his friend, we'll make a bargain with you. If you can stay outside tonight with absolutely nothing extra to warm you all night long, you'll be our guest at a fine dinner. We will pay for everything. Right, friends? Right, they agreed. On the other hand, his friends continued, if you use any special item to keep yourself warm, you will have to make dinner for all of us. How about that? Fine, fine, agreed the Hoja. That evening, the Hoja's friends watched through the windows of their warm houses as the Hoja strolled here and there, studying the stars in the chilly sky and wishing 1,000 times that he hadn't agreed to the bargain. It was freezing outside. Just as he was about to give up, he saw a candle in a window about 100 meters away. Staring thoughtfully at the candle, the Hoja imagined that the warmth of the light helped warm the blood flowing through his cold body. But by doing this, he was able to stay out all night in the cold. The next morning, his friends, stepping outside into the cold air, were amazed to find the Hoja calm and smiling. He seemed to be fine, even though he had stayed outside all night. Well, said his best friend, are you sure that you didn't use anything special to warm yourself? Not at all, said the Hoja, unless you include a candle burning 100 meters away. I did see a candle, and its burning glow helped me to feel warm during the night. But that doesn't mean that I used anything special. It was just a trick of my mind. No, exclaimed his friend. Hoja, you used that candle to warm yourself. You must be our host at dinner. The Hoja protested that he was right and his friends were wrong. Although he tried and tried, he was unable to convince them. Reluctantly, he invited them to dinner at his house that evening. The group arrived in good time and sat on pillows in the living room, waiting for their meal. But they did not smell the delicious smells that would tell them that the Hoja was preparing a fine meal. As time went by, 1 hour turned into 2, and then into 3. The waiting men were hungry and began to complain. There was still no food. At last his friends asked the Hoja about the delay. Ah, my friends, the dinner is cooking. You can come see for yourselves, said the Hoja, and he led them into the kitchen. When they arrived, they were amazed to see a large cooking pot hanging from the ceiling. A single candle was burning 1 meter below the pot. But Hoja, said his best friend, surely you don't expect to heat that pot with a candle. The dinner will never be cooked. Oh, I'm not so sure, answered the Hoja calmly. If a candle that is 100 meters away can keep me warm all night long, then surely a candle that is only 1 meter away can heat a pot for your dinner.